what is the absolute easiest way to choose a real estate market that you can have success with when you're looking to do wholesaling, specifically when you're looking to do virtual wholesaling. And virtual wholesaling is the art and the science and the methodology that I created where you can go out and do deals without physically having to be in a particular market. And what that does is that rather than the conventional method of doing real estate and real estate wholesaling, where you have to be in a particular market, that now you can do deals anywhere in the world. You could do it from your laptop. And one of the things that people get stuck on is, what market do I select? Because you want to select the market that's going to give you the highest chance for success, and you want to be successful. You want to make sure that you don't have any issues with doing a bunch of marketing, and then at the end you choose the wrong market, and now you've wasted a lot of time, energy, and money. And so how do you prevent such catastrophe from happening, where now you're no better off? In fact, you're worse off because you spent all this money and you chose the wrong market. That's what I'm here to answer for you today. And as always, I ask you to make a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Give me a like, because that lets YouTube know that you like me, and if you like me, then I like you back by making more videos. See, it's a very, very interesting relationship. Yes, I'm wearing a hoodie because it was really, I'm actually here in South Florida, and it was really cold. It's really chilly. Today was it's 72 degrees. Oh my gosh. So what do most real estate investors do when they're selecting a market? I'll tell you what they do. Maybe you do this as well. You go out and you try and go to all these different websites where they give you all these different stats and different analysis of the various markets and what's happening in each market. What are the job stats, what are the housing stats, and all this other stuff. And you get all confused to the point where you absolutely, positively, even after all that research, you're no better off, and you have no idea what you're doing. So you just end up going to some of the groups, and you look around and you're like, hey, that guy seems to be having good luck in his particular market, so why don't I choose that market? Then what you do now is you have to figure out, okay, if you're selecting a county, let's say you're selecting Broward County is a fairly large county. So the question is how are you going to then narrow that down further? And the method that most people use, and the method that I've used before, is that you then go out and you figure out which zip codes have the most investor activity, which are the zip codes that predominantly investors are going into and buying and selling properties. And then you narrow that, say in Broward County there's 40 zip codes, so then you narrowed it down to like the top 10 zip codes. And the reason you do that is because of the fact that you've got a limited budget. You don't have the capability of mailing the entire county or going after the entire county. And so what you've got to do is you got to narrow down your choices, and you do that by, say, selecting a really set of zip codes, and then now you're going to market. And so you might, say, pull a list of landlords, and you might go out and get a list of tax delinquent properties, and then now you've got the smaller list to work with, and now you are pinning your hopes on the fact that you selected the right zip codes, you selected the right marketing methodology, and that in the end you're going to pick up a deal, and you keep your fingers crossed. That's the old way of selecting a market. I'm going to tell you the new way of selecting a market, and it's much more efficient, a lot easier, and it's going to be it's my number one recommended. It's what I'm telling everybody to do right now, and that is you select the entire state. So in my example, and I had this recently happen inside of my my 5 Motivated Sellers online group, where I teach people how to get started with Facebook ads for motivated sellers. If you're interested in that, click on the link in the description here. So I recommend selecting the entire state, and I'll tell you the story. I recently had a client who was targeting his particular county, and again, he was struggling to get deals, get leads at an affordable rate. He was getting a trickle of leads, one here, a couple, once a day, a couple a day, 2 or 3, over a period of a couple of days, and it was going. But he wanted to maybe accelerate the process, and he wanted to see if he could pay less per lead, because again, I understand that a lead, not all leads are created equal, meaning that some leads, it doesn't really matter the lead cost, it matters the lead quality. But when you're starting out brand new in the business, it helps if you have good quality leads at the lowest price possible, because now that's going to enable you to cycle through more leads, and you're going to have more opportunities. So I told him, I said, hey, just target the entire state. And he's in Florida. So I said, just target the entire state. Run it for $30 a day. And see what happens. What happens over the last couple days? He's getting 5 to 6 leads a day, and he's spending like $5 a day. Think about that. What if you could get $5 or $6 leads? Now, you're going to get in Florida, you're going to get leads that are in the middle of nowhere. You're going to get leads that are like a trailer park, trailer home, etc., manufactured home, and which is okay. You're going to throw those leads away, but you're going to get a lot of other great leads. You're going to get leads that are viable leads, and you can always talk to those the leads that are not that great, because that'll give you practice, especially if you're brand new in the business. You can practice on those leads, and that way you don't practice on the good leads, right? So that when you get a good lead, then now you're going to be in a position to really do well with that lead. But again, now he's gone from a couple leads a day to now having 30 or 40 leads over the last week that he's dealing with, and now he has like some really solid opportunities. So now you couldn't do this through conventional methods. I hope you're hearing me, because I got a lot of windows. You wouldn't be able to do this with conventional methods. Why? Because you can't target the whole state if you're cold calling, if you're doing direct mail. But you can do that with Facebook. You can target the whole state and allow Facebook to then show your ads to the most qualified prospects. I'm passing by my most favorite house in my development. I'm going to show you, because I don't want to point the camera here, because if I point the camera, then it seems kind of odd. But you see that house over there? That's, I think, 12,000 square feet. 2 compounds, a guest house. Yeah, that's the kind of house I want. Yeah. So, excuse me, because I'm trying to get over. Still have my lingering cold that my kids left me. So you just target the whole entire state. And the reason why we're able to do that is because with Facebook ads, it works amazingly well, and you can get cheap leads. And that a lot of my students are incorporating that, and now they're finding that they have so many more opportunities to do that. And again, how the obstacle to that is, you might say, well, Chico, I know nothing about that market. That's how can I do a deal? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, okay, you don't know anything about a particular area, but with online tools, you can go on Zillow, you can go on PropStream, you can use online tools in order to analyze, be able to figure out what a property is worth. You can do so without having to estimate repairs. You don't need to know anything about repairs or fixing up or anything like that. And you can make an offer on the phone and have a pretty good, accurate, if you do your comps right, your property analysis, you can figure out what a property is worth, even if you have no idea about that particular area or town or anything like that. And then you can go out and very easily now get photos of that property through the owner or through other methods, and now you have everything you need in order to go out and find a buyer. And now with social media, now with so many of the other tools available, it's very easy to go out into a marketplace and be able to quickly, within a couple of days, find a buyer, a legitimate buyer for your deal, and be able to sell it. And now you've got yourself a tremendous opportunity, because rather than fighting it out, because here's the other benefit of this approach, if you target the entire state, and I'll tell you a couple of nuances to this that is an asterisk, okay, about targeting the whole state. So I'm going to come back to this. But now I forgot my train of thought, what I was going to say. Damn it, I'll go back to the first thing. So like, I don't recommend targeting the whole state. Like if you're in New York City, some of those areas, like if you're in California, a really high priced market, it might be worth a test to see what kind of lead costs you get. You might get some pretty good leads, but California is a tough market. So if you're in California, I would say test it. Test maybe running a statewide campaign in California, and then test running another campaign in maybe some less expensive market. The challenge with California is that in the market of California, it's not a commoditized housing. By commoditized housing, meaning that if you go into certain sections of Broward County, all the areas are all the houses are all the same. Across a relatively larger geographic area. When you're in California, you could be in LA and or San Diego and have the houses be worth a certain amount of money. Then you jump across a couple more blocks and now those houses are worth even more money. And also, when you're dealing with that higher price point, then the sellers want more. They're going to scrutinize the contracts more. They're going to want more for deposits on the contract. They're not going to allow you to put a deposit down after the inspection period. So there are things that make that kind of market a little bit more difficult. So maybe you start off with a market that doesn't have as high of a price point, and then eventually, once you get your first couple deals, you know what you're doing, you feel more confident. Then at that point, then you can start in California. Damn it, I forgot what that other thing I was going to mention. I mentioned about the photos. So we go out, you target the whole state. I'm just working through, like, if I'm going to give you instructions here, I would tell you, look, run your Facebook ads, target the entire state. You're going to get leads. You're going to go ahead and sift and sort through the leads. You're going to analyze the deals. You're going to make offers on those properties. And then you're going to go ahead and put them on the contract using HelloSign, DocuSign, or mail. Then you're going to get photos of the property. You can either get them from the owner. There's a bunch of different services available that you can go out and get photos. And then at that point, then you're going to go out and find buyers. And you'll find buyers through social media, through Facebook ads. You can look on Facebook groups. My friend Alex Youngblood has a big group, Wholesaling Houses Full Time. They don't allow posting of deals there, but you can look for people that are in that market and try and see if you can get help. And then at that point, then that's it. You just sell the property. And now the whole entire market is available to you, the whole entire state. And it just becomes a lot easier. And so again, you might, the only thing that's hindering that would be an obstacle for you is your thinking. That you might be thinking, well, gee, how can I do deals this way? How can I do deals in a virtual way? I don't know the market. And that's just, listen, if you haven't done this business before, you're not going to know the market anyway. So just start this way. That's my recommendation. If you're going to do wholesaling, you're going to do virtual wholesaling, instead of selecting a market, instead of being really narrowly focused on one particular market, and the only reason how you can make this work is by using Facebook ads. You're not going to make this work by doing cold calling, because you're not going to cold call the whole state. You're not going to direct mail the whole state. So if you're doing those kind of tactics, now keep in mind, a lot of people do cold calling because it's less expensive. Right, or the appearance of less expensive, because you got to think about the data and everything else you're putting into this. But keep in mind is that if you're getting $10 leads with Facebook ads, that's going to be pretty less expensive. I don't know if that's a right term. Very inexpensive compared to, say, cold calling. And then you don't have to spend 5 or 6 hours on the phone. You just put the ad up, and especially if you're working full time, you put the ad up. And then now all you're doing is just waiting for the leads to come in. They come in, you message them, you can text message them. If you're busy at work, you can go back and forth with them on a text message, and it makes it a lot easier. Tell me what you think. What are you gonna do? Why don't you try that? What's stopping you from trying that right now? Come on, I got a series. It'll might appear here that shows you step by step how I do Facebook ads for motivated sellers. If you want my personal help, if you want more step-by-step direction on that, click the link in the description so that you can get more information on how you and I can work together. I can give you guidance and support like I'm giving you, like these students that I'm sharing the stories with. I gave them direction, and I can do that with you if you're in my group, if you're in my program. So check it out, and make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. And again, there's going to be a video that pops up somewhere around here.